influencer, actor, designer, model, teacher, performer, mother, granddaughter, daughter, sister, wife. When we step into the world of social media, I'm seen as many things, but this is not all that I am, and I definitely didn't start out that way. When we were kids, we were told stories of magic and dreams coming true. Then somewhere along the way, we were taught that magic doesn't exist. This is my journey back to that magic, back to myself. My story begins as a child. I was born in Nipiy Iskwew Derek, aka Edmonton, Alberta. I'm the oldest of 4 siblings. I was a very energetic and enthusiastic child, passionate about fashion, my friends, and my family. I was always happy and smiling, and I loved to perform, always putting on skits and dances and singing for my family and even my classes.
She's probably the most dramatic person that I know. Everything was like a big movie scene growing up. I remember this one time, we were hanging out in my mom's room and she put on Ace of Base and we were making a little choreographed dance and she choreographed the whole thing. And it was fun at first, but then I wanted to go play in my room and play with my Barbies, but she wouldn't let me leave until I got the dance down.
I always thought she was going to be in theater of some sort because she was so dramatic.
Both my cookums went to residential school and my dad went to what he called boarding school. He was also later put into foster care as a part of the 60s scoop. Back then, to need healing was seen as a sign of weakness. And as an Indigenous man, he couldn't show that weakness. So all of that trauma that he experienced was then passed on. Growing up in an abusive household was hard on me as a young girl. It led to my low self-esteem and low self-worth, and this is something that I brought into my teen years. But it wasn't too long after that that I discovered drugs and alcohol, which soon started to consume my everyday life. I survived suicide attempts, ODs, a ton of reckless behavior, including car accidents, being locked up in the drunk tank, and extreme addictions causing DTs, which is a form of withdrawals. I still struggled with addictions when I moved to the city, but that's when I met my husband, Blair, also known as Superfan Magoo. When I was in my addictions, one of the reasons why I couldn't quit was because I always feared that life would be boring if I didn't drink, if I didn't do drugs. And my husband Blair, he never drank and he never did drugs. And he's got to be one of the most funnest people that I know. So he really inspired my sobriety and moving forward in that way. I remember getting so frustrated with that answer because so desperately I just wanted her to tell me what to do. But that just wasn't her way. She really let us live our lives and make our own decisions. So when I was really struggling that day in treatment, I wanted to call her so bad and wasn't allowed to. I thought to myself, what would my mom say? And I just smiled because I knew exactly what she'd say. She'd say, my girl, go lay down tobacco. So I did just that. I went outside full of anxiety, full of worries. I had that tobacco in my hand and I just prayed to it. I prayed to my ancestors, I prayed to Creator, I prayed to this tobacco and I laid it down. And immediately I felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off of my shoulders. I felt filled with love and hope. It was in that moment that I realized that my mom had taught me a very valuable lesson, a very valuable teaching, that we're never alone. With that tobacco, I was able to just connect to my Creator, to my ancestors, and pull from it that strength, that courage, and that guidance that I needed to keep going forward. And now I play Jan on Bear Grease, one of the most funnest roles I ever got to do. So it's the indigenous version of Grease.
Nipiy plays the character of Jan, who is this bubbly, fun, overly energetic, but perfectly energetic character. And she kind of brings the bubbles to everyone. That's kind of how she is in real life too.
Keep that light, baby girl. When life gets hard and you feel like you're all alone, remember where you came from. Remember you are home. Your ancestors walk with you and will guide you on your way. They are always with you. All you gotta do is pray. There will be many good times and many bad times too. But always be the light, my girl. It'll help guide your way through. For your roots are strong and deep and filled with many layers. Never forget who you are, my girl. The answer to your ancestors' prayers.